What is up, guys? Delboy here. Just a quick post-fight thoughts video for Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios. It was what it was. It was kind of what we expected. Essentially, this fight was being viewed as basically a glorified tune-up for Danny Garcia. It was actually listed as a WBC eliminator for some reason. How they decided Rios was worthy of that shot, I'm not sure. But essentially going in, I think most people felt this fight was a glorified tune-up fight for Danny Garcia. A glorified comeback fight after a loss. And it kind of was what it was. To Brandon Rios' credit, he did come to fight. He came with some good intensity. He was letting his hands go. He was trying to force Danny Garcia on the back foot and try and outwork him. Rios came to fight. He was in a bit better shape than he was against Tim Bradley. He was fighting with more hunger than he did against Tim Bradley, and he did give it a go, but ultimately he was always outgunned. He was always outskilled, and he was getting picked off when he was coming forward. Essentially, the fight was quite easy. There's not really too much to tell. Danny Garcia, for the most part, was moving on the back foot, using his jab occasionally, trying to time Rios coming in with his right hand and left hook. Rios was working well, like I said. He was letting his hands go. When he had Garcia against the ropes, he was working well. He was landing some cuffing overhand shots, some nice uppercuts on the inside, a few body shots here and there, and some clubbing shots in general. Not many clean shots on the chin, but he was working well. But it was always Garcia who was the guy who was dictating. It was always Garcia who was the guy who was landing the harder, cleaner shots. The right hand was landing quite a few times throughout the fight. Also, the left hook was there occasionally. Garcia, I felt, actually done well to the body at times as well. All the meaty shots were coming from Danny Garcia, and he was walking on as the fight wore on. He was landing more and more right hands, and he was countering better as the fight wore on, especially after the sixth round. I felt Rios was competitive in rounds, and you could have argued he won a couple of rounds, but I think after 6 rounds, I felt Danny Garcia started to get his rhythm, get his distance, and he started to really punch through the target and start to break Rios down. The fight ended in round 9 when Danny Garcia caught Rios with a lovely timed right hand, and it dropped Rios hard. Rios definitely was hurt. He did beat the count. He got up. He did look a bit unsteady, and I think given Rios' career so far, given the amount of punishment he's taken, I wasn't too upset to see it stopped. So Danny Garcia did what he had to do. I think it was a good comeback fight, all things considered. Rios made him work. He would have shaken off a ring rust, and he's ready to get in there against some of the best welterweights in the world. The welterweight picture right now is a little bit interesting. This fight was listed as a WBC eliminator, like I said. Sean Porter is also a WBC mandatory. So both of those guys are either going to wait on getting their shot against Keith Thurman, or they're going to fight each other. And I think they'll probably wait it out to fight Keith Thurman. I would like to see them fight each other. That would be an interesting fight to me. I know they both had words after their fight. Sean Porter and Danny Garcia had words. So maybe that fight might happen. Stylistically, based on that fight I saw last night, Rios was getting to Garcia at times with his pressure, and when he was on the ropes, Garcia was shipping some shots. He was getting caught a lot, and Porter brings a lot more pressure than Brandon Rios. He's a lot physically stronger than Brandon Rios, and he's quicker than Brandon Rios in terms of his foot speed. So Danny Garcia would have a harder time actually landing counters because Porter's going to be closing the distance a lot quicker than Brandon Rios with his foot speed, and Garcia's best at countering when he's on the outside or at mid range. When it's on the inside, he's not a great inside fighter, Danny Garcia. So if Porter could close the distance quickly and really get inside on Garcia quickly, then it's a tough night for Garcia. I'll probably favour Sean Porter to win that fight. From what I see online, most people are picking Garcia to win that fight, but I think I'd pick Porter in that fight to outwork him. That's a fight I'd like to see though. It's a good competitive matchup, two contrasting styles. I think Danny Garcia is a mid-range counter puncher, whereas, you know, Porter's just a pressure fighter, a bully. You know, he's a mauler. I think that's a good contrast of styles. And it's a fight I'm sure all of us would like to see. I'm not too keen on both guys waiting for Keith Thurman because first and foremost, both guys have fought Keith Thurman already. And although both fights were good, especially the Sean Porter fight, I'm not in no rush to like see them back to back again. I'd like to see the Porter fight again, Porter versus Thurman again, but I'm not really too keen on Garcia versus Thurman again, to be quite honest. I felt Thurman clearly beat Garcia first time around. Ideally, I would like to see Porter versus Garcia next. Thurman takes his tune-up fight, and the winner of Porter Garcia then fights Thurman, because for whatever reason Thurman seems to be fixated on taking care of mandatories instead of fighting other guys. So that's how I'd like to see that work out. But I do still feel Garcia, let's say he goes straight to Thurman, I think Thurman would outbox him again, and he'll just he's just a better athlete. I think he's quicker on his feet, and I think he'd outbox Danny Garcia, providing he doesn't get caught with a big shot. But yeah, the Garcia Rios fight was what it was. You know, Garcia shipped some shots, he took some shots, but ultimately he was always in control. He was landing hard counter punches throughout the fight, and you know, he done a good job. He did do a good job, but yeah, I would like to see Garcia versus Porter next, or in realistic terms. You know, none of these guys seem keen on fighting Errol Spence, unfortunately. You know, but yeah, to me, Garcia versus Sean Porter makes a lot of sense. To me, neither guy has really done enough to merit a shot at the WBC title. Porter beat Berto in an eliminator. Again, Berto's finished. And Danny Garcia beat Rios in a eliminator. And Rios is finished. So, to me, it makes sense for both guys to fight for a real eliminator for the WBC title. You know, it makes a lot more sense to me. But who am I? You know, I'm just a boxing fan who talks random crap and uploads it to YouTube. But it was good seeing Danny Garcia back, and I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes next. Where do you guys think he should go? Peace.